I wish there was a way to ask Black kids of single mothers their honest opinion about how she's doing. Would it really matter? Like, seriously, would it matter? Because we know that a lot of these women out here do not care about what people think about their parenting skills. Here's another thing to consider. When you are a kid, you don't know what's necessarily going on. If you're being raised by a single mother, that's normal to you. Although, as I've said on my channel before, I'm Gen X. I was a kid in the 70s, raised by a single mother. So it was still frowned upon. And even at my tender age, I knew that something was different, or I should say lacking. I knew that there was supposed to be a father in the home, even though I couldn't articulate that. But nowadays, you have the sisterhood, who is the default for womanhood. And a lot of these women are poisoning their children's minds about men, about their dads. So many women today, the modern woman, a lot of these kids, by the time they're 18, they've seen their mother either with countless boyfriends, or he, my friend, just random men that had no title. So children really can't express their opinion, especially if they're 8 or 10. It's not going to be until they're a little bit older and see the world, more of the world around them, especially if they see children with their father in the home. Right now, they probably can't tell you what their mother is doing because it's normal to them. And we know that a lot of these women, as I said, they poison their children's minds. They really do. And here's something to consider. The ones of us who get on our platforms to talk about the single mother rates and being pro-nuclear family, pro-marriage, the thing is, Black women in general are above reproach, not accountable. You have Dr. Umar, you have other pander bears who will not hold single mothers accountable for their choices. Now, I'm not going to get into it's these men who get these women pregnant, this, that, and the other. I guess because I come from a different generation, we were raised to be mindful of what we did with our bodies. You did not let a man on your body that wasn't married to you, let alone having a child with a man who has not married you. Those days are gone. And now women get to be these loud, proud, strong and independent, but also damsels in distress victims. So even if a child does see, something is missing in my life, my dad should be there. Because we live in a society that's so anti-male, particularly Black male, anti-fathers in the home, the biological father, what children are seeing today is normal for them. So they don't know, how to approach their mother about anything right now. It's not going to be until they're an adult and they've lived a little bit and they've seen perhaps, other households that had a dad in the home. You don't see certain things until you see, another, I don't know how to word it, another life. As I've mentioned on my channel before, I grew up in the 70s. And even though I lived in I would say the projects, My household, from what I remember, was the only one where a dad was coming to see his children, which would be my brothers. We didn't have the same father. So their dad would come to see them. And I think at that point, my father was already dead, but I didn't know that. I didn't find out about my father until like the mid 80s. And he was already dead since 77. But that's another topic. But that's why I'm so harsh. And I won't even say harsh. I just try to offer food for thought. I used to talk to the young ladies before even becoming a single mother. I try to, give preventative advice. Whereas, you have a lot of these panderers who like to give advice after the fact. But you have a lot of young ladies out here who can get advice before becoming single mothers. Hey, don't do that. Find yourself a man who's going to love you and the children that he creates with you in marriage. But I just wanted to address that really fast. Bottom line, adults who were raised by single mothers, we're telling single mothers exactly what we thought about how they parented us. They're not listening. They're not listening to us, so they're not going to listen to their kids either. And that's my topic.